Good morning. Welcome to Walking Boxing. It is Saturday, July the 5th, 2025. And just another morning after an insipid, pathetic performance from a football team, the Carlton Blues. It's reached a critical point at the moment. Embarrassed again last night. So it's not good when you wake up the next day after a loss. It just ruins your weekend, doesn't it? When you lose on a Friday night. Could be worse, it could be a Thursday night, and then you've got an extra day to mope around. But not good from the Blue Boys, and the whole club need to do a lot of soul searching as well as a lot of delistings. Anyway, enough of the footy. Yes, Collingwood supporters, come at me. I know we're shit. I know you guys are the greatest. There's still a lot of footy to be played for the rest of the year, including finals, guys, so we will see. Anyway, on this day, back in 1909, Stanley Ketchell defeated Billy Papke over 20 rounds to retain the world middleweight title in Colma, California, wherever that is. Colma, never heard of that one before. It was their fourth fight. Ketchell won the series 3-1. Papke, I think it says here, won the second fight. So that was back in 1909. I like that page there. I think that was the Premier Boxing Series one, that one. I always have some of those really old fights in there. And a couple other things on this day. July 5th. In 1984, Japan's Jiro Watanabe defeated Payao Pultarat for the world super flyweight title. And in 1996, Argentina's Marcelo Dominguez knocked out France's Patrice Awisi, I think it is, in 10 rounds in Paris, France. So not a hell of a lot going on this day in history, but if you're a real history buff, you'd like the fact that, come here, bud, that Stanley Ketchell was in action 116 years ago. All right, now on the, I suppose the rest of the news, Tim Tszyu has, I think, touched down in the States. He left yesterday, so he'd probably be there. Well, I say he'd be there by now, but I did read an article about him yesterday. It must have been just before I left. I'm not quite sure who it was with. It might have been Main Event, I think. I can't remember, but it was really interesting to see him reflecting on the last 12 months, I suppose, and what's happened with over 12 months now with everything and how things have transpired. And it sort of got me thinking, the sliding doors, or the sliding doors phenomenon, or whatever you might want to call it. What would have happened? Because he discussed that this is the second time he's fought Fundora and when he was supposed to fight Keith Thurman. Back last year, he was, of course, supposed to fight him at T-Mobile Arena. Keith Thurman had, I think, the torn bicep injury. And then Fundora, who was supposed to fight Sergey Bolchuk on that card, which would have been an entertaining fight as well, stepped up, literally. And we all know what happened there. Then, in this fight, Tim again was supposed to fight Keith Thurman, who's gone very, very quiet since all this has been announced, by the way. He was full noise after beating Brock Jarvis and what was next. The Australian boxing media were all over it. It was all going to be Tim and Thurman. And his name literally hasn't been mentioned once, I don't reckon, since this fight was announced and after the Brock Jarvis fight. But anyway, but yeah, he was supposed to fight Keith Thurman, and of course, Sebastian Fundora did the right thing and offered him the rematch, which Tim swiftly accepted. Now, as I said, the sliding doors moment. What would have happened if Tim had it? Well, there's probably a couple of sliding door moments. What would have happened if the Thurman fight did happen last year when it was supposed to at T-Mobile Arena? I would expect, I don't know, that Tim would have won that fight. I think. We just don't know, of course, but I'm backing that he would have maybe won that fight, or if he did win that fight, what would have been next? So he would have won a big fight as a main event at T-Mobile. What fights would have been on the table for him after that? Would the Terence Crawford fight have happened? I've got a feeling it could have. because you remember in, what was it, August, wasn't it, later in the year, that Crawford fought Madrimov. So that's probably one scenario, that if Tim had fought and beat Keith Thurman at the T-Mobile Arena last year, it would have been him against Terence Crawford in August last year on that Riyadh card. That's probably the first scenario. Now the other scenario is if, and we wouldn't have had the Bakram Murtazaliov debacle and all the heartache after that. Then the other scenario is, what if in between the second and third rounds, what should have happened did happen, and that is the fight was stopped, and it was declared a draw, a no contest or whatever it is. I think it would have been a no contest, yeah. What would have happened there? I doubt that Tim would have rushed into a rematch. He probably would have been out for most of the year anyway with that cut. He probably would have fought at the end of the year. Definitely wouldn't have fought Crawford in August. It would have been too early. Well, he was obviously supposed to be on that card against Virgil Ortiz, and that's another sliding door moment. Imagine if the cut had healed enough that he had to fought Virgil Ortiz. Would we have seen another Bakram Murtazaliov situation? I'm not sure. But yeah, if he had had that cut, he still would have been the champion. He would have had, the thing I suppose what he would have had is time, and time to make decisions, and time obviously to heal. But he would have, he still would have been in the driver's seat. And again, we wouldn't have seen that Bakram Murtazaliov loss, but I would say he would have waited till maybe October, November or something like that. Then maybe had a defence of that WBO belt, probably still in the States, but I don't think it would have been against Fundora. I think if that fight had been declared a no contest, I don't think he would have went back to Fundora. I would have thought he would have said, nah, stuff that. That's did it on short notice, but I'm not going to go out of my way to fight him, especially with what happened with the cut on the head. But at least he would have had options, and he still would have had the belt. Maybe, look, who knows? Maybe he might have fought Bakram Murtazaliov in a unification fight. I don't know. I doubt it, because obviously it wasn't a big fight. Tim only fought him in the return because it was an opportunity to get another belt. So you don't begrudge him for that. In hindsight, not a great decision, but you know what I'm getting at. And maybe, yeah, it would have been a fight with an Ortiz or one of those types of guys. Again, I doubt it would have been Crawford, unless Terence Crawford waited out to fight Tim Tszyu, because he did say in a recent interview that he was super keen on fighting Tim back then, but it fell over. That maybe that would have been the sliding doors moment, that even if he had the cut, maybe Crawford would have waited for him and fought him in October or November. Who knows? But so many what ifs, and here we are 12 months later. Yes, it's great that the wheel has turned full circle, that Tim has got that opportunity. But geez, what damage has the cut done and the knockout loss to Bakram Murtazaliov done to his psyche? And could that have been avoided, if that first fight either hadn't happened and he fought Thurman instead, or the cut, of course. And the other thing is, of course, if the cut didn't happen, then maybe he would have went on and iced Fundora, and we wouldn't even be talking about this now. I don't know, but it just got me thinking, just those, what could have happened if the circumstances hadn't been different, and where Tim would be. At the end of the day, as I said, he's actually got the opportunity to, I suppose, to exercise a few of those ghosts from the past, and get these belts back, and maybe go on to bigger and better things from there. But anyway, it just got me thinking. As I said, he should be either there or hitting or landing today, and he'll have 2 weeks prep, and he'll be straight into that fight. It's come around really quick, actually. So I think you all know, if you watch this channel, of course, I'm heading off on Tuesday. So it's 3 days away. Haven't even given the trip a thought yet. I've not got myself organised at all. I'll probably obviously do that over the weekend and pack. The good thing is about going this time of year is that you literally only need 2 or 3 pairs of shorts and 6 or 7 t-shirts or something like that, and you're set. Because it's 40 something degrees every day. That's a good thing about going. It's not real good. I've been overseas during the winter over there, and sometimes gone places where it's sort of cold and then it's really cold in the other areas you're going to. So you've got to pack all sorts of clothes. But this time it'll literally be a carry-on bag with a couple of pairs of shorts and half a dozen t-shirts, and I'll be fine. Maybe a few more t-shirts. I'm there for 2 weeks. I'm not too stressed about packing enough t-shirts and shorts because, of course, you know, you can wash them or just keep wearing them. It doesn't really matter. But it's the jocks and socks thing that gets me. I've always got to have exactly enough jocks to get through, because if not, you're washing them in sinks and the socks as well, washing them and leaving them in the sink overnight. Anyway, because I don't like to go to laundromats. If I'm being honest, I don't know how to work the machines. I couldn't have a clue. So anyway, all right, some other news. Of course, in the last couple of days, it's all been about Tyson Fury and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Firstly with Chavez Jr. Of course, everyone's up in arms. All the ones that, or probably the ones that hate Donald Trump, are all up in arms about what's happened and how barbaric it is and everything else. But I mean, if you dig a little bit deeper, let's forget all the political stuff about it. I mean, he's facing some serious charges as far as guns, ammunition, drugs. It's pretty serious stuff. So I think all the bleeding hearts out there, and again, not mentioning the political side of things at all, just looking at it for what it is. There's a lot of people out there, you know, throwing their hands up in the air, going, "Oh, he couldn't do this. Our Julio could never do this." I think we all know that he's outside the ring, has had the checkered past, and has been known to associate with some, let's say, not so nice people, and has always found himself in some sort of controversy or another. But I think it's come to light that I think it's his stepdaughter or something like that, or the woman he's married to, or whatever, or was married to, or something. I can't remember what it was, but the stepdaughter or something is the granddaughter of was El Chapo, or whatever his name is. What's his name? Who was the other drug honcho back in the day? You know what I'm talking about anyway. But apparently he's the main guy in the drug stage, of course, in jail. And is that his name, El Chapo, Guzman, or whatever the hell his name is? But it's apparently the stepdaughter, or whatever it is his granddaughter or something like that. So he's in the mix. I don't know why he would need to be part of that world. He comes from a great family and has had a lot of opportunities in life, probably earned a lot of money, although the word is most of that's gone. So I think if you're out there and you're taking the opportunity to lay into the Don over in America and the ICE team, just first, without letting all that get in the way of your thoughts, just have a good look at the situation. You can see that Julio Cesar Chavez is not really a great guy and is in some pretty, not so good things. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. But so he's in a bit of trouble, and it looks like he will do some jail time by the sounds of things. So, and then the other one, Tyson Fury. Well, he put the post out with him and Usyk, and the date, which was April 18th, 2026, and where it was. Well, a couple of things wrong with that. The Wembley Stadium's not even available on that date, apparently, and by all accounts, no one was really interested in the fight. I think Eddie Hearn actually took great pride in saying, look, no Tyson Fury's put out that post and no one gave a shit, which is probably right. Everyone I spoke to was like, Usyk Fury 3, nah, not really interested in that one. I'm not really interested in it either. I think it goes exactly the same way as the first two fights. And Usyk wins the unanimous decision. I don't see it going sort of any other way. I don't think Tyson's sort of fast enough or punches hard enough or puts enough pressure on to really make it life hard for Alexander Usyk. Daniel Dubois is a different proposition. I think Tyson Fury is probably a better fighter than Dubois in his prime, but just different styles. Dubois will at least put it on Usyk and shown that he can drop Usyk. So I think I agree with Eddie Hearn. I don't think anyone cares, but they do care about Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. This is for all different reasons. Yeah, it's not to see who's the best heavyweight in the division. It's not for anything else except for the fact that it's a big British and heavyweight fight. It's one of those fights, probably like I liken it to Bowe and Lewis, Lennox Lewis and Riddick Bowe. They never got it on, and I think both fighters just regretted it for since they retired. They met at the Olympics. They were always going to meet, and it never happened. And this fight, I think, is the same thing. That was the American version. This is the British version. I just don't think. I think I've commented on here before. I don't think either guy would sleep that well in the future, knowing that this fight didn't happen. The thing is, though, it's all one way at the moment, according to Eddie Hearn Anthony Joshua is just waiting for the phone to ring. They want the fight, but they're not going to do anything until Tyson Fury states what he wants to do. And at the moment, he's all over the place. And I think in this instance, my reaction would be to an Usyk and even a Joshua to some extent. So stop using our names as clout and just shut up. And when you're ready to talk, here's our number. And apart from that, I'm not even going to mention, if anything, if a reporter asks me, this is probably saying Anthony Joshua. If the reporters are asking about Tyson Fury, just say no comment. I've said enough. He knows our number. If he's serious, don't give the guy the attention and fan the flames of what he's trying to do. Now, I love Tyson Fury, but I think sometimes he just loves the fact that he's on everyone's minds and everyone loves to talk about him and everyone wants to hear what he has to say. I just think they've got to stop giving the guy, the fuel, I suppose. And even Usyk, I would have expected they would have certainly come out and said that, hey, we're not even commenting on any proposition or possibilities of the fight until we get after this one. But they actually released a statement saying they were open to the fight. So I suppose it goes to show how big a name that Tyson Fury is, that he can cause this sort of discussion. But I don't know, for a guy that just continually just played us all for fools and it just plays games. But again, I suppose that's just his persona, isn't it, anyway? So, all right, what else is happening? The November card in Riyadh has had the Abdullah Mason-Sam Noakes fight added to it. So that means the Mason and Noakes fight will be part of that card, featuring Haney and Norman, which will be a really good fight, and also David Benavidez and Anthony Yarde. So not a bad card for November. Now, speaking of cards, and also speaking of Donald Trump over there in America, he's actually, this is not really boxing related, it's UFC, but he stated that in conjunction with Dana White, in celebration of the 250 years celebrating America coming up, he wants to do a UFC event at the White House. How cool would that be? 25,000 people he wants to get there in conjunction with the UFC and Dana White. Now, that would be pretty cool. I was just wondering, speaking with the Riyadh season and everything else, whether they could maybe do something with Turki Al-Sheikh as far as the boxing goes. The thing I will say, though, about that, I don't think, again, I'm not trying to get political and everything else, but I would think that maybe Donald Trump wouldn't like to maybe go into business with the Turki Al-Sheikh. Let's just say that Turki Al-Sheikh's country, Saudi Arabia, has caused a lot, or wreaked a lot of havoc on the United States, which Donald Trump would not forget, even no matter how much money would be at stake. That's just my opinion, that I would think that Donald Trump would not do business with Turki Al-Sheikh because of the history between the two countries. And we're almost at the 25-year anniversary of the 9/11 attacks. That's next year. And yeah, okay, I don't want to hear all the conspiracy theories. I'm just going by what I know. All right, so I'm not going to get into all that. But the fact that Saudi Arabia had really significant links to what happened, and we're so close to that, I don't think Donald Trump would want to deal with Turkey. But what a partnership that would be, though, if those two did match up or get together and we had a massive event at the White House as well. Let's put Turkey aside, but wouldn't it be great if he actually did a boxing event as well as UFC? And Dana White is a boxing promoter now, so maybe they could do a double header and do a big world title fight there at the White House as well as the UFC. It'd be pretty cool. But anyway, we will see. Didn't actually realise it was the 250th birthday of the United States coming up. And I'm not sure, is it this year? Was it 1775, was it? I don't really know my American history that well. But anyway, that's what they're planning. All right, on that note, guys, I will leave you to it. I will wallow in my misery today as far as wondering what I'm going to do with my Carlton membership next year. I'll be back, don't worry about that. Doesn't matter how bad they go. I'll always support the Blue Boys and always front up. I don't go to a lot of games, but I never miss a game, and like probably a lot of you out there, my whole weekend mood depends on what happens with my football team. But Collingwood supporters, go your hardest, and I'm going to spend the rest of the weekend sulking. So, guys, apart from that, have a great Saturday, and we will catch you tomorrow.